Welcome to the Freestyle Takeover podcast. That's right, we are the premier podcast for all things rhythm dance games freestyle. I am DJ Melvis, and we've got a little bit of the crew with me today. To my right,
it's me, Ryan, aka Regular Ryan. It's good to be here today.
It's me, James, aka Gabby J. Yay.
And our special guest this week.
Hey, this is international superstar DaKree coming all the way from Japan. Right here for the Freestyle Takeover podcast.
Yeah, it's been a moment since we've had a little bit of contact with you guys, and it's definitely not without a lot of good content that we've come into the past few weeks. Unless you've been under a rock, there was this thing called Infinity Stage and Night in Motion that we had, and boy, oh man, if it's not just a highlight reel, it was just one big absolute love fest, on top of other things. A lot of skill. Yeah.
It's the summer of love.
I'm feeling that. So yeah, with that, let's kind of get a quick housekeeping note out of the way. One of our major things coming up, something that we haven't had for a little bit of a while. Yeah, our little online competition, Cypher. Yes, our fourth installment of Cypher will be coming down the way. Now, what makes this a little bit more special than the past three? Well, you have not one, but two options to get your happy feet and grubby paws on. Now, we all know that DDR's obviously been our mainstays, but we kind of had a little bit of a revelation after Infinity Stage. Maybe this Dancerush Stardom thing might be kind of a thing. Who knows? It would be a shame if someone else came and adopted it and claimed it as their main thing. So, congrats, Dancerush. You're officially now our side chick.
Welcome to the family.
So yes, stay tuned. Approximately around the first week of September or so, we will have an announcement with Cypher 4 and what will be the rules, the parameters, all that stuff. As always, there'll be great swag for the top routines. So kind of start thinking, get prepared, and soon we will drop some good details on that. So keep it locked in. So yes, as you can tell with all this kind of talk we've been going through, kind of been hinting at the past few minutes, Infinity Stage just happened a couple weeks ago, and boy oh boy, just thinking about all the communities within the rhythm gaming silo just coming together between 2DX, between DDR, between Dancerush, Sound Voltex, etc. It was a wild one, just having all those, not only just the skilled people out there, but just the entire love everyone had for everybody. I mean, round one, we got to definitely thank Dave for Calico for getting this together, for kind of like being the one who more or less had this, concept in mind. And shout out to him for like coming out to us and saying, yeah, he wanted Freestyle Takeover to be part of this. And
Maddie and Dave just coming out to us in the early going of getting this whole event together really meant a lot. We clicked with Dave right away. He's a big wrestling fan. He loves his performance. Goes back a long way with the DR community, or with the B-Money community, doing Best of the West back in the day.
At Sunnyvale Golf Lane, correct.
And so to sort of revitalize that for this weekend and update it and revamp it, it's just a real pleasure to be part of it, and just exciting as hell to see everything clicking on the day of, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everything kind of synthesized at once for this whole weekend. Into an event that I'm not going to forget anytime soon.
Yeah.
I got to guess best way to put this was, he was kind of like Thanos collecting every Infinity Stone. He got Freestyle Takeover. Yeah. He got SF Evolved from like the tech side. He got Valkyrie Dimension, the great female tech division, and pretty much all the other miscellaneous, all the other fan bases to come together for this event. So just
World Order shout out.
NCWO. You never forget them.
Yeah.
I remember when he pitched it to us, and I was thinking, wow, this sounds ambitious.
Yep.
And I wasn't hesitant or anything, but then we got in like the Discord with the staff, and just seeing how professional every staff member was of this tournament,
Yeah.
like Dave and Maddie definitely assembled like an all-star crew to run this thing, and it went off without a hitch. It was like swing, fences, ball went over the fence, grand slam. It was probably one of the best events of all time for rhythm games.
Yeah, I mean, to Sarah and Dalton and Omar, just on the graphics end, making everything look incredible. Brittany and Sarah doing the Valkyrie dimension. Everyone in that staff just get shit done.
Yeah.
And just seeing that play out in the weeks leading up to it was inspiring. Like it's making us feel like we want to accomplish more and more this year with Takeover and be more ambitious.
Yeah, I think it's just really awesome that when you kind of look just from a behind-the-scenes standpoint, looking at all these other different TOs come together, I can understand when you look at athletes and you look at all-star teams, when you make it, you're like, oh my God, now I'm working with this person, this brilliant mind and that brilliant mind. You're seeing how they kind of approach things. You're kind of taking a look at like, okay, that works. I got to jack that, and the fact that, even when we came there with our approach at things, they looked at us and said, hey, these guys kind of got stuff too. So not only are we learning stuff from them, but the fact to feel valid, like, yeah, we kind of belong amongst these people, it's a huge step. But yeah, it doesn't mean that hey, we just keep doing what we're doing. It's like we got to step a game up on top of that, because if this happens again next year, which signs are pointing to perhaps,
those ticket sales are this thing's gonna cap even faster than it did this year.
They're probably going to have to get the Sano Con Center soon.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next year.
Infinity Stage at SAP Center. Also, I'm not sure if we shouted her out, but huge shout-outs to Ann Cygnus, who was like boots on the ground for Infinity Stage, running social media. She was such a workhorse for this, and it was also awesome having her as a judge for our DDR tournament the evening.
She was amazing on stream.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Ann.
Yeah.
She wore so many hats the whole weekend.
Oh, yeah.
They did a great job with marketing. Like, obviously you did a great job cutting the trailer, and then like the merch that they got going out there. That was some pretty darn dope merchandise.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the shirt and the backpack and the towel, and I'm proud to be rocking the Infinity Stage logo.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you see it, and it's like, if they're going to do this again, can they top it? I think they can top it, but holy crap, it's going to be hard to top Infinity Stage 1.
We didn't have Pump Freestyle at this Infinity Stage, so next year, you never know. You might see a new Triple Crown champion of Infinity Stage.
Triple Crown. Call it
There's
now.
always a first for everything.
That's something I want to see.
Yeah, but it's kind of going into the highlights of Infinity Stage weekend. Obviously, if you were there for most of that, not only just for obviously stuff with Freestyle Takeover, but there was a lot of tech going on. The numbers of entrants was astounding. What was it, like over 100 people or so?
I would say like 120-ish. It was approaching big deal levels, and this is our first year doing it.
Yeah.
So shout outs to Roger and yeah, like you said, Ann, SF Evolve, and Valkyrie just marking the hell out of this thing and making people fly out from all over for this.
Yeah, it's kind of wild because you think of like all the other major tournaments out there, like you think of Raj, you think of the Big Deal, Storm and stuff like that, where everyone from out here is flying out to do this here. So for people to come to our backyard, it's not like we're not a great travel destination or anything, but it's amazing what can happen when you have the right venue and the right minds behind everything to get something done. Like, you see this happening right in front of your eyes, and it's just astounding.
Yeah, year one, because we've had Fresno, and we've had some Ace tournaments in Dave and Buster's around California, but we haven't had as far to my knowledge, like a multi-game, 7-game event. Super promising to see where this goes.
One thing I thought that was really cool about the DDR tournament specifically was that the TOs went through all the qualifiers and kind of made a judgment call where to split the divisions. So the lower division players, they weren't playing with the upper players, because the upper players were playing on the regular DDR Ace machines. But kind of as a special treat for lower division, you got to play on the new Gold Cab, and that's where all of your matches took place. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing that they did, using a judgment call to separate these divisions.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was in lower. I got to play on Gold. Had to adapt on the spot to the big screen, the timing as best I could. I went 2-1, which felt good. I made out of pools, but it was still really competitive. It was basically like a lower/middle division, and there were some killers in whatever bracket you ended up in. Like, everyone's improving so fast thanks to like Black Flag Academy with Jasmine helping out beginner intermediate players, and just the amount of people that entered this turned lower kind of into its own super hype mini tournament. Really, just every division was lit.
It really was.
Valkyrie, lower, upper. You couldn't go wrong the whole weekend. And they had it like on the projector over at the bar at one point. Like you could watch and sit down and get chicken wings and whatever.
Oh shit!
That was one of the coolest parts at the bowling alley. They had on the screen above the bowling pins, they were broadcasting Infinity Stage. So everywhere you went in the premises, you could watch Infinity Stage on the TV. Super cool.
Over like NFL or baseball.
Yeah.
We're real esports.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, tell us more about some of these results here. Like who were the heavy hitters that we got to see over that weekend?
Oh, so yeah, in Valkyrie we had some really close matches. Shout outs to again Sarah Kilpatrick and also Dasha, who made it quite far. In the end, Amber took the win. Amber Ambones.
Oh yeah, a alumni from the D2R Tech tournament.
That's right. And a longtime player up in Washington, up in Seattle. She and her husband flew down for this. It's great to see him again. And yeah, it was between her and Eggy, who took second, Peztronic, and then Legend Elk took third in that division.
Bones was just a killer in the
And
whole
Bones
tournament.
Unbelievable.
Dude, those trophies were dope too.
The trophies too.
Like, don't get me wrong, I thought our trophy was kind of nice, but they gave us a run for our money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to Brittany and Sarah for that. Just their design is just always on point for Valkyrie's flag. And then back to upper division, we saw some crazy matches. I love watching Leon Twix go at it. He's just one of my favorite players to watch. Also, a big fan of freestyle, which we'll get into later. Like you name them, they were there. Dalton scored a crazy upset against Ninja Far, a couple of Fresno locals who went head to head. I think he beat Ninja Far by like a point in one match. We saw ties all weekend, and Omid was just playing out of his mind. Omid ended up taking second to Chris. Surprise, surprise. But his performance all weekend was unbelievable. He's been on another level just this year and continues to improve, which blows my mind. Like the fact that now he has this place Hayward to practice at, this new location, like it's like his new spot, and he's getting a lot of ace in more than before. So yeah, Omid's still on the up and up.
Yeah, definitely shout out to round one Hayward, Southland Mall finally getting open. Oh, yeah. Very nice place. Got to go there last week, and it's a beautiful place. It's very nice, well lit. You got both DDRs out there. You got 2DX, and they got a pinball row, which like
right?
for the pinball nerd in me, I'm absolutely like stoked about it.
That's my corner of the arcade.
They also have like the largest, out of all the round ones I've been to, they have the largest selection of alcohol I've seen.
And it's not that expensive either.
Yeah.
They have two of the pump anniversaries, right?
Yeah, they have two Pump XX cabs. They're still feeling, they're very fresh LX machines. Oh, cool. So like they feel stiff, but they're very new. So once they have a little more time, like the techs at Hayward round one, they seem to be very receptive. Like they seem to be listening us to a lot. So I can imagine there's a lot of love, and they listen to the people too. So I can imagine it being a key spot for pump play very soon.
They immediately fixed pinball when it broke on me.
Oh,
Like they were right there to fix it.
good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have to put an angry Yelp review like I had to do for SVM, but yeah.
Isn't it just... You can feel free to cut this out if you want. I'm going to kind of go off on a sidebar, but it's crazy how we have round one now, and it's like accommodating to this like kind of... Rhythm games are still kind of a niche, like in the terms of mainstream gaming. And we just have 3 locations in the Bay Area where we can go to and play these like super niche Japanese games. Like, I wouldn't have thought a place like that existed outside of a golf land, like when I was younger. And there was kind of that down period where the golf lands were kind of starting to get rid of their games, and then like the round one started popping up a few years later, and I think that really sprung all the life into the whole DDR scene again.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's just so well maintained.
Yeah.
I had to go 60 miles for pump, getting ready for USPF 2013. I had to I either had Rohnert Park, which has probably
that's right.
the deadliest highway.
Yeah, dude. Seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they only just put a barricade there like very recently, but hella people died on that freeway.
Oh, God.
Because two-way at night.
Oh. That's
And
awful.
either that or Sacramento.
Mm-hmm. Also, deadly driving up there.
Yeah.
I can't stand driving up in Sac.
It's just awesome how much more accessible all of this is now. A lot of places to practice and a lot of places to film really cool videos for Cyphers. Hint, 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 hint.
But yeah, kind of taking it back to
Bring it back.
Bringing it back on the
bring it
road.
back, y'all. Bring it back.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Chris taking the top spot. Huge inspiration to watch. Just ripped it on what was it? I think it's like Paranoid Revolution. No, Endymion. We were watching it back on silent on the projector, and everyone in the crowd was singing along to the song on silent, like doing their own vocal track. Yeah, Chris ripped it all weekend.
Stays unflappable, man.
I don't think he lost the match the entire time. Didn't even have to use his pocket pick. Omid took second, and Sappy from SoCal took third. Just super consistent and solid.
I saw the video of Chris playing Endymion Challenge with June, is that his name?
That's right, June was there.
Yeah,
the boy
like,
wonder.
Yeah, if you're in like any DDR players groups or anything, you'll see June. And how old is he? Is he
11.
11 years old? Better than I will ever be at anything, as he is at DDR. But yeah, he was out there passing like the hardest song in the game, playing with Chris. People were taking photos with him. They were exchanging autographs. It was like such a cool thing to see.
Child celebrity.
Yeah,
Better than anybody at this table at Tech.
this is true.
Next up is Freestyle Kid. What you
That's
got?
it. For
What you got?
freestyle, you can get that at any age, man.
Bring back a little dude from
Sunnyvale.
Sunnyvale.
For Sunnyvale Golfland. Still one of like my favorite things ever.
Yeah, shoutouts to Lev. Lev, the 16-year-old kid in our Discord. He's always posting videos and.
Oh yeah, the cat out of Georgia.
Out of Georgia, yeah, asking for tips. So if you're listening, man.
I'd
keep
say
it-
there's
keep
a
it up.
round one coming out in that area
Oh.
soonish. I remember it's just outside of Atlanta. So
Fantastic.
and get to see more and more and more.
Yeah, they're popping up like crazy everywhere. Their coming soon list is huge.
It's really encouraging.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get all the new stuff, new DDR, may even get Dancerush. Speaking of Dancerush, hey, we finally decided to take advantage of what was before us. Hey, freestyle Dancerush seems like it's a perfect match in heaven. So hey, challenge accepted, we said. And full disclosure from me, I had no idea Dancerush was going to be this popular as far as signups went. Like, we figured DDR would probably get, our usual count, and Dancerush would probably be the little sister, niche, like, okay, it's going to be on the come up, who knows. Dancerush had more signups than DDR, which says probably more about Dancerush than it does, in comparison. But just to see all these people, like, show out for it that night, I was just, it was dope.
Yeah. 25 people. Freestyle is kind of woven into the game so well as part of how to play. Like, it shows you how to do a running man. So a freestyle division for this doesn't seem like that far off from the game itself. And so we just got people that we were only just meeting that weekend. Like, lots of new faces and just lots of encouraging talent to see. There's a guy who flew out from Texas who had run the Dancerush division at the Big Deal. Joseph, aka Triad Dusk. And he was one of the nicest guys that weekend. Was just thanking us for all we do and how happy he was to see a Dancerush freestyle division. So yeah, it's just really great to get to meet that community.
People are pretty creative too with what they're. I mean, like you said, Dancerush tends to kind of be intuitive with freestyle, with like running mans and all that kind of stuff. But to see people actually be able to face the audience, like to learn these step charts, which aren't too many easy ways to find like these step charts. So you either got to play your ass, you got.
There's that one YouTube channel.
And that's it. But you saw things like Kanuru going out with with the umbrella, doing his like singing in the rain, as you want to call it. To see a couples routine on Dancerush, which on one stage at that, it was bonkers. And then seeing other people like Apple Frog going into like full storyboard mode. It's like
full meta.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's kind of already built its own sort of reputation enough to where you can actually poke fun at the game or the community itself. That's when you know you've made it.
There really needs to be more tournaments like this right now, because this is definitely the first of its kind. There's still that thing where people do see. I don't know if this is a little early to bring this up, but people do see DRS as a purely footwork shuffling game.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah. This is one of the biggest things I got from this tournament. This tournament caused a lot of discussion concerning about Dancerush as its identity as a game, and the mixed reactions that we've had.
Dude, I'm really happy you got people talking on. In the end, it got heated, but and there's some bad apples in the bunch who we can just ignore. But on the whole, this made an impact, and I think more good than anything will come from it the more we talk about it.
I think one of the main things when we talk about, obviously the thread in Dancerush players on Facebook definitely kind of blew up over it. You can tell there are, some people who say it should only be one style to play, which when you talk about freestyle, that's, if you come from the DDR background, that's one of the most asinine things you can imagine. It's it's not purely dance. It can be entertainment. It can be, it's whatever gets the needle moving. It's your interpretation of, how you play the game, essentially passing it, but with, whatever style way you want to deal with it. I think when you talk about the bad apples, the community are when they say it should be this or that, a lot of times my kind of takeaway from it is they're kind of projecting how they wish they could play really well at. I think, for example, if you talk about people who say Dancerush is, a shuffling game, which, a lot of steps and considering the music, it's almost like the first thing you would think of, and it makes sense. It's kind of intuitive.
On paper.
Yeah. So when you think about that and, you get into the game I want to be a good shuffler and all that, I think you kind of think, well, the best person in the world is someone who can shuffle and do this. So that must be the way you have to play, because in my mind's eye, that's what I idolize. And so when, you see this irreverence, people, doing the couples routines or goofing on, doing some sort of a humor skit on it, they're like, what are you doing to my sacred, They can
take it personally. I can see that perspective of it. If you have this really strong reaction to, your world being flipped upside down by a dude with an umbrella. But it's that's your opinion. I think there's a lot of ways to see this game.
It's I was in love with Apple Frog's routine. Actually, I guess it's what I wanted to say and do, but just didn't have the courage to actually expand it that much into a real routine, because my thoughts about KAC were very... I was probably the angriest person I knew, considering that. But it does beg the question: what are we judging on? I'm just glad that when that happened, it was such a weird system. It was 2/3 score, 1/3 1/3 style. If it was 85-15 score style, I would have been quiet. But in this case, I don't know what Konami was smoking, making up with these rules. But making style mean so much. It's going to cause a lot more discussion, and realize what exactly are we looking at, and is Konami really trying to throw kind of an agenda of how DRS is supposed to be, or something like that. So
there are so many ways you could tackle this. I know one of the things that sort of, when I was just kind of internalizing the whole backlash and all that, it reminded me a lot of figure skating, for example, because I know in the Olympics you have things like a technical program versus a free skate. The thing, and I could kind of see that in sort of a Dancerush sort of construct, but my thing is, we talk about technical, other than score, what exactly are you looking for? There's no set rule in stone that said you have to dance this way. We're not looking 5.5 deduction for a wrong T step or something, something like that. So it's very, the fact that it's that nebulous, it's almost crazy to think that, yeah, only one dance style should be above everything else. So you would kind of have to throw that out in that regard.
I know, I like to throw the stanky leg. You know? Dude, that's what I can.
As
so
you should.
Like...
The game itself is still so new, too. It came out, 13 months ago, 15 months ago or something, so it's still pretty much uncharted territory. So I think with these big events, these big events are huge steps in figuring out what this thing really is.
Yeah, I think we're making a lot of progress with each one very quickly. Yeah, compared to a game like DDR that's been out 20 years, we've got a pretty good grasp on what the freestyle scene, where it has been and where it's leading, what we expect out of it. Dancerush, we're still trying to figure out what to expect.
And to me, I guess the biggest thing I could take away from it is for all the people that are ballyhooing, it's like not enough, this style versus that style or whatever. It's like, I had a lot of fun at that competition, at that tournament, and there were a lot of people online that were just retweeting and liking. I mean, Justin Wong of all people was replying to a couple's routine damn, we got a heavy hitter from the FGC chiming in. So if we're getting that much love despite all these people who might fancy themselves as Dancerush purists, it's hey, we just created punk rock. We are the counterculture. We've made something dope. It's like they say sometimes. If you got a lot of haters, you're doing something right. Thankfully, the hate was actually. It was a vocal minority.
It was
I
a
guess.
fraction of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people who were there the day of, I mean, the bottom line is just these things gotta be fun.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun that night.
Which is not to say there weren't some valid points that they brought up. I do think moving forward, our judging scale might slight a little bit, give tech a little bit more leverage, but not so much to the point where freestyle isn't still the absolute majority.
Totally. I'm down for that.
Oh, you should get Kevin Tan back on the history of pump scoring, how old WPFs had so much
50% costume.
it was bad though, but
Was proper shuffling a category?
Not just shuffling, proper shuffling.
The judges' scorecards is just a word that says shuffle, and then you have to write proper next to it.
Distinguished.
Yeah. That said, it's one style of many that you can bring to Dancerush to hit those notes. And it was a style that weekend. I think Etzer and that dude Blue, not Eugene. His name was Eugene.
His name was Eugene Kim.
It was, yeah. Was not our Eugene Kim from Milpitas back in the day.
Not the guy who stuck his hand in his pockets and could play Pump It Up doubles like nobody's business.
Also named Blue. But no, I thought we were going to see him for sure. No,
that screwed me up, man. I was sad when it wasn't our Eugene.
Amazing.
The only reason I knew there was a second one was because of that Technica documentary that we saw.
Oh, was he in it?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
I still got to watch that. Okay.
It's really good.
Sweet.
Shout out to the people who did, Touching Sound, I believe it was called. Yeah, that's it's really, 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 really good. You don't even have to know too much about Technica. If you play music rhythm games and you're just involved in a community that, it was a game that had a good positive impact in your life and you had friendships and lots of stuff come out of it, it will absolutely hit you right in the feels.
And if you want to learn more about that documentary, check out our past Freestyle Takeover podcast episode with Butters and Anthony. They were talking a lot about the making of that documentary because they were both participants in it.
Yep, they're on the poster.
Yeah, their hands are on the poster of the documentary. I haven't seen it yet. I really want to.
And because of that documentary, I found out how Butters got her nickname.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it and find out.
Yeah, we won't
Yes.
spoil that.
Don't spoil it here.
It's actually a good story. I never would have guessed.
But yeah, back to the shuffling real quick. I really did enjoy watching Etzer and Blue. We can go more into performances that stuck out for us, what we want to see out of people. But as far as fitting that style of shuffle, they had their fundamentals down on point. And I do want to get better at that style, at that game, and just get more games in. I think I can really learn something from those guys, and I think we all could. So yeah, shout outs to Etzer. I think he got 7th or 8th. He made top 8.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yes, I remember. I want to say it was 7th.
Yeah, he had some good feedback after the fact on Discord. Had a great time. So yeah, definitely hope we see him again.
Yeah, there was also, I hope I'm not butchering his name, Sindek?
Yes.
Yeah, he was
Sindak,
great.
he took the selfie
Yeah.
mid routine.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, I loved all the selfies that were being taken of like the performers with the crowd behind them. That was super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone was super nice, super positive. The atmosphere in that room was electric. It was crazy.
It was very patriotic.
Very patriotic.
times.
USA.
That was the most played song, right?
Yeah, and I don't care.
I want to see that or like Crazy Shuffle, but yeah, we had some definite like repeats, some top tier songs that night.
I mean, the only thing that would have made USA more patriotic is if like Captain Jack were still alive and he, was the one that did that. It would be like you could pretty much make the whole new national anthem that.
Give me a Captain Jack cover of USA.
Please. Hologram Captain Jack for the next Infinity stage.
Oh yeah.
Like I was watching all the way from Japan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was walking on the street and waiting in long lines and just like going to the stream. I only missed like a few routines. Shockingly, it was both second place routines that I missed because I was in line buying a lot of Idolmaster Side M stuff. But just watching everyone's performances, it was hard for me to keep, my eyes like crossing the street and just keep watching because it was just great from top to bottom. Even the people that didn't place had something. So it was just great to watch.
Yeah, and first time entries too.
Yeah.
Abby and Daddy666, who had a whole 20-minute recap video that you gotta check out on YouTube. Yeah, shout outs to Lori for just this is their first freestyle event, D2R, DDR and DRS, and she stood up from the crowd. She stands up from any crowd she walks in the room of, and she had her own style and gave it her all. It was great to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, other routines that come to mind, Kanaruru's,
Kanaru stepped it up, man.
Yeah, he's been in the freestyle circuit for a while, and he's always been like kind of in the middle of the pack. I mean, always did good, but never quite broke through, into like the top 4 or so. But yeah, after seeing him, like I remember when he busted out the whole umbrella routine and such, and just how smooth his choreography was, I was just like, man, this is going to be his time, And yeah, it's stories like that, just seeing like the arcs of people who start, from the beginning, you just see them get progressively better and better and better. That's like the most rewarding thing about running these tournaments is to see the competitors come out and step their game up from one game to the next, to the next, to the next. And it just makes me think, man, I can't wait to see his next, routine.
Yeah, I remember him from like USPF. I forgot if it was USPF 2013 or USPF 2014. But I saw him and he seemed a little green then, but he's made a lot of progress since then. I've seen him several times, like at IPFs, several pump events, but I think I've seen the most growth through Infinity Stage than I've ever seen from him before.
That was a big jump.
Yeah.
It's just seeing him memorize both his songs,
Yes.
which also in DRS doesn't seem like an easy task. Facing the audience, we saw a lot more people facing the audience that day than I expected, and that was awesome.
Same here. I didn't expect to see that high volume of people facing the crowd and performing, and I was blown away by that as well. I thought we would have most people facing the screen, but not only were people facing away, but they were insanely creative while they were doing it.
A lot of more floor work than I would have expected for a Dancerush tournament.
Yeah,
Like the juice.
like the juice.
Shout outs to the juice.
I mean,
The spinneroonie.
as expected. At least DRS doesn't have any bars we have to disinfect.
He's got his 5 moves to do at this point.
Oh my god, never thought we'd see Juice as the Bret Hart, the 5 moves of doom of freestyle.
Shout outs also to, I'm trying to remember people, Big C also, Caesar, who recently joined our Discord, awesome 2DX and DDR tech player, first time entering freestyle, so yeah, keep it up, dude. You, Nabby, Lori, lots of first timers. I think Zindak too, first freestyle tournament.
So I want to shout out to fellow NCWO member, D Narwhal.
Yes.
Narwhal!
Him too.
Yes.
Narwhal, yo!
Because
Yeah.
I think the first time I've seen him was Fanime, and at Pump he got second
That's right.
to yours truly. But
Is that why you brought it up?
No wonder you remember.
But as I was watching on stream, well, he did the first USA routine, and he was facing the crowd. He was very theatric with the US flag, and he made it as campy as I can see that. It was like it was almost Pump routine-ish kind of way, but seeing that I haven't seen a lot from him dance wise, it's so cool just seeing him just start growing from Fanime just to here, and he's like he owns his own style, and he's killing it, and I remember it. So
That's
Yeah.
the important part. Yeah.
He was very memorable in both events at Night Motion.
Yeah. Going good.
Yeah, so I'm kind of getting towards the people who play like the other guys. Actually, one more shout out. One more shout out to Rubio, who came
Rubio,
out from
absolutely.
Virginia at the VA. Yeah, he had a dope routine.
Yeah.
That was like that kind of disco-ish sort of hybrid.
I think Jill. Oh, no, yeah, Jill was there. I think Jill will have been proud. It felt very Yakuza
Yes.
disco ball inspired, and he had so much charisma that night. Had the fro. Pointing at the audience, and just also I think he had one of the hardest charts that night too.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of notes.
And I think probably the most impressive thing about his routine for like not having placed in the top 3, he had a really good balance of like tech score and freestyle. I think had the rubric been swayed a little differently, he would have done some serious damage. I mean, he did serious damage. Let's not take that away from him. But as far as the final cut, I think he probably set a really good example for anyone who's looking at just think people to follow or people kind of take a look at. That routine was probably one of the best examples of seeing like how you can take a dense step chart, make it look really good, hit it and like do it with style.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I want to see freestylers get trading cards eventually, because I think I want to see his stats. I think he'd have some of the most balanced stats of all of us.
Oh yeah, so kind of getting down to the top 3, like who the big
The heavy hitters.
yes. Third place was 001. Yes. Saturday Night Love.
First, I mean, a lot of people's first DRS tournament, but his I didn't know what to expect. Seeing his DDR style transition into Dancerush, and dude, he stood out from the crowd so well. Just had completely his own style of storytelling and comedy, which I love. Yeah, coming out of CEO, like from the Akuma routine to this, like going straight comedy, was awesome to see. A wonderful cameo by our boy Craig's,
Craig's is the meme that keeps on giving.
in new ways every time, which I love.
Is Craig's our god? Like with the DDR community, we just praise to Craig's.
Truth be told, it's James who like kind of really cemented Craig's as the guy. So if you want to know like how that meme blew up and all that and will stay forever, thank him.
Check out our video. We saw Craig's a couple times that night. We'll more on that later. But James has had some great pantomiming in his routine, getting his shave on and checking out his wardrobe for that night.
He kind of had that like he had that Sha-na-na Bowser kind of aesthetic going on with him, which is something I never would have expected out of him.
It was definitely just a change up for what we usually see out of 001, and it just turned into full on like Night at the Roxbury by the end of it, which is great.
one thing that he did perfectly that I saw a lot of errors, well, not maybe, I don't know about a lot, but several errors throughout the Night in Motion night, is he successfully put on a jacket. And that's really, like, see, I do a lot of stripping in my routines. But putting on something is like a whole different level. Like there's so many more things can go wrong with putting something on than taking something off. So the fact that James probably did the best of the night concerning that move, that's impressive.
So what you're saying is, to really impress a judge, you got to start out naked on the pad, and you got to like get fully clothed by the end of it.
Oh, absolutely. That would be great.
So for Cypher 4,
No, I want to see you straight up like sew a shirt, like actually get a sewing machine, and by the end of the routine have a full outfit.
Project Runway Studio.
Yes.
Just get one of the FitMix long versions. I think I'll have enough time for that.
Oops, I did it again. Ooh, we got the perfect song right there.
There it is.
So yeah, 001 definitely kind of going a different route than what we're used to, but nonetheless, absolutely entertained. Second place, someone who we're very familiar with, that Freestyle Takeover, Apple Frog. And it was that Justin Bieber song, What Do You Mean?
What do you mean? Which I think it's one of the best produced songs in the game. It's really nice to listen to. Say what you want about Bieber, but it's really catchy.
And in true Apple Frog fashion, he went with the storytelling route, and he went with a route that, oh yeah, if you want to talk about shots fired, this guy just brought the freaking bazooka. And, yeah, so pretty much the story of his routine revolves around KAC, which we kind of alluded to earlier, and how, Riri, who like a lot of us think is such an amazing freestyler, and he had like all the style points, but for whatever reason,
You want to talk DDR gods?
yeah, I mean he's a modern day just the freaking Michelangelo of freestyle, and so when to see like his goods weren't really getting, I guess, the official Konami respect as far as judging goes, but I thought, hey, he got screwed, and so that became sort of a running with mentality that sort of came along within, I guess, the freestyle ranks. And so yeah, his thing was talking about sort of with the whole storyboard, which has also become sort of like a new way of freestyling, to sort of have like the sidebar story along with the performance. Hey, talked about, hey, KC, why are we having this freestyle tournament if style isn't really what you're looking for, and et cetera, et cetera. And then he just kind of did his whole style, which is very much often, like a lot of the arm movements, a lot of the sort of lyrical
K-pop.
Yeah, K-pop style of dance. And then at the end, the whole, like, I guess, payoff was...
That was a beautiful payoff.
Yes. This is the guy, picture of Riri, the guy you screwed. And yeah,
Enjoy
just...
this photo.
Yeah, like, pretty much all of us who are in the know were just like, damn.
Shuffle or die.
Yeah, shuffle or die was very... Little did we know the outcry we would have from the tournament was, the shuffle or die crew coming after us. So it was bold, but that's kind of the thing about Babel Frog. He will take on the story, and like he will get a reaction from you sooner or later. And that was the wild thing about his freestyle. Not only on top of that, the fact that his routine followed the routine that won the tournament is saying a lot of like how, when you talk about the routine that won, it's like, gosh, how are you going to top that? He damn near did, which says a lot about how good he's just been this past 2 years effectively. But kind of taking that, we go into the top freestyle routine of that night. Oh my goodness. So it was Hitsui and, oh God, for life of me, I always forget the partner's name. But it's her brother.
Trista and Alistair.
Yeah. So, those two, hailing from Sacramento. So, and as far as I know, there are no Dancerush machines up there.
Is that right?
Yes,
Oh,
there was
man.
no. So the fact they had to come down to like Concord, probably to practice, says a lot of like how much they got accomplished in little time or how much they came down. But what was that song they did?
Party jumping.
Party Jumpin', that's right. Which was a
So
pretty
good.
popular song that night, and for good reason. But yeah, I like my first impression of this. Like after I had seen everything, I kind of like thought this was probably one of the most magical things I have seen in like all rhythm game freestyle in like the 20 years that I've been into it. Like this is special.
Yeah, I believe it, dude. I was not there for Synchronized Love back in the day, but as that routine unfolded and played out, it felt like you said, that magic. This is actually happening in front of us in real time. The crowd is like going nuts for it, and they were just so in sync the entire time. Like they had their shit down, dude. The level of difficulty of execution, like say what you want about Dancerush being easy to pass, that's a tough routine to pull off, like to say the least.
The thing about the accuracy thing is I think they only used a one person chart, right?
I think so, yeah.
So I think the biggest issue is if you have another foot on the pad, it can register another step too early, which like they because you have 4 feet on the pad now, that means you probably have a larger chance to get those goods and greats. So it'll probably cause some kind of like confusion on, you know. So I thought that was more understandable, but it seemed like they tried to go for all the possible position movement notes for that matter.
Yeah, I did not get the feeling that they were willfully missing notes or like trying to go off the page, as some people like tried to insinuate, like, oh, they weren't even trying to go for the steps, they were just going for the spots. Like, no, they were going for the spots. I mean, they were going for their, the notes.
Yeah. The one section in the middle that like 2 people, 4 arms kind of thing. Their feet weren't moving. They were missing notes then. So in the future, I think if they could do 2 things at once and still hit that, arms and feet at the same time, like that'd be godlike. But like you've said in the past about improv, about missing notes or like building your bar up in the early going to allow yourself that room to miss notes. That's a valid strategy as far as freestyle goes. So yeah, I'm happy to see them take first.
Yeah, going with this kind of rave kind of concept we wanted to execute for Night in Motion, that routine was the perfect thing to execute that vision that we had. Like, this was Night in Motion, here's this routine, watch this. There's really colorful, bright lights, really quick, fast-paced dancing, crowds totally into it. Like, it embodied everything we wanted to see in that evening.
But, like, don't take our word for it. The craziest part about that routine wasn't so much that it happened, because, of course, that was amazing. But after we had posted it to our social, the traction that thing got with the retweets and likes was just, it was astounding.
Or the Richard, yeah. Once Richard cut that video together, that thing took off. And for good reason, dude.
But even, like, as our first, like, when we posted probably something around like a 40-50 minute clip on our...
Oh, that's right, yeah. Just my iPhone video of them.
Yeah, just that alone was already... Like, I remember just, my phone blowing up with all these, Twitter notifications. This was liked and retweeted and like, whoa, and that wasn't even our final form, Yeah. Once Kanoru brought his video, like, all nice and remastered, yeah, that thing was just fire.
Super well done.
So yeah, if there was any doubt that routine wasn't the gem of, the Dancerush night, nothing will ever convince you.
You had a good routine when the artist of the song retweets you and compliments you.
So yeah, it was just absolute magic. I mean, I would say probably a top 8 anything that I've ever seen in music games in my lifetime. Like, I could take this to a total stranger and they'll be like, this is amazing. Like, you don't even have to know what the game is. You're just like, I am impressed.
That's the best part. Like, I was showing my sister earlier, showing friends just a game that's so easy to follow and understand what's happening. Or just so visually interesting that keeps you watching it, like the stage itself. Not to mention what's going on top of the stage. Yeah, Dancerush, I think, is just, it's freestyle the game. And hopefully we can get one more in this year, because I want to see where this takes off.
Yeah, I think all we were missing was just your mom, like, texting you about the competitors, like she did for Apple Frog. Too hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just remember looking at your guys' faces after the couples routine, and all of our jaws were just dropped. Like, all the Freestyle Takeover staff, judges, crowd members, like, mouths were, like, wide open, just like, what did we just see? That was insane.
Because, yeah, I remember, like, Kanoru came about maybe a few places before that the Hitsui routine, and when I saw his routine, me and Joe were looking at each other like, dude, I think he's going to take it this time. And then that happened. We're like, well, about that.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see our guest next time.
Yes.
Once it comes DRS time. Because this thing could go either way.
Oh, that's the reason I didn't win.
You're surveying the competition from afar before you make your grand entrance.
Absolutely. You know,
Smart. That's smart stuff.
Strategy.
Fashionably late.
I'm like Cell. Like y'all look freeze down, but happy to see Cell.
You're gonna show up in a later season.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, what I had planned is it was gonna be so amazing. Like it would be up there with, you know, The Godfather, Godfather 2. Janelle Monáe was gonna make a 3-second cameo. But you know, I had to throw all that away. But you know,
Good thing there's a Cypher 4 coming up.
There you go.
Hey.
maybe.
Yeah. It's just wild to think we've been gushing all this moment about Dancerush and all that, and we still had a DDR tournament, A20 afterwards. And if you can believe it, I thought the A20 tournament was probably the best DDR tournament I have ever seen as far as like talent goes from top to bottom.
Yes.
You know, like I know we always talk about the mythical CVGL1 as like the bar of, man, this was the greatest tournament from top to bottom. This was the evolution of that.
Yeah, I think D2R almost took that top spot, if not already has. But I think the average score of what everyone brought to the A20 tournament, quality-wise, I think top to bottom, that was the best tournament I've ever seen. John felt the same way. John was, if you have go back on our YouTube channel and check out the stream archive, which I've recently posted with Twitch chat. Some great commentary on there. Jazz and Ann as judges, and John had some thoughts as well, just about how long he's been in the scene, and how much this event blew him away.
This was definitely the hardest I've ever had to judge.
That was so tough.
It was so good from top to bottom. Like, I'd rank routines near the bottom and just feel absolutely terrible and guilty that I had to rank these at the bottom, because every single one was memorable. Every single routine had something there that you could grasp onto. I won't forget any of them.
Yeah.
That's how good it was. Every single one.
I felt so much guilt
Yeah.
for that hour, like ongoing. Like Kana Uru brought it. Face the crowd. Pick party jumping. Pick party rock anthem. Thank God somebody did. Dude, give us a light show.
Yeah, we got like the classic rave. I'm like, we haven't seen classic rave like that since that Rave for Kenshin video doing Butterfly. The one that would be like, if you ever tried to go on like Kazaa or Napster back in the day and you tried to like search DDR freestyle, his was like the one that got the most downloaded, or at least it was way up there. You're like, this guy.
Yeah, but when we were like in the very baby stages of Freestyle Takeover, before we even announced anything to anyone yet, you know, you'd go to Twitter and put DDR Freestyle, and you would see a bunch of Kanauru videos that he would make, like playing in his bedroom or whatever. I'm like, oh man, this guy's good. And he entered the first Takeover tournament. He came and he's entered, and he's always been good, but what he brought to the DDR portion of Night in Motion, like, that's what I've been waiting for the entire time.
Yes.
And it felt so good just to see him finally hit that, and it was one of the best routines of the night.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, just even the routines that, like, you know, pretty much didn't qualify because they failed, like, they were still good too. Like Rubio's whole sword fight thingamabob. Had he passed that, that probably would have been top 5.
The Jedi new era duel between him and Shelly. It was
Yes.
awesome to see them fly out for this.
Yeah, and he was doing like a pretty tough step chart at that too.
Very tough, yeah.
I mean, he's definitely found his niche in like the dense step chart freestyle.
Totally. I did feel bad for Julian. Julian, I believe from New Mexico.
Yes.
He came out for this as well. Entered both DRS and DDR. I think it might have been his first DDR freestyle. I think he was wearing a mask the entire time. He couldn't see the screen, and so he was basically stealthing it on like Chaos Tech Terra mix doubles.
Hard song.
Hard song.
Hard song.
He missed a bunch of arrows, sadly, and didn't pass. But he told me before the thing started he was inspired by stuff like Astrogazer and storytelling, which I really took that to heart, and I really appreciate that, dude.
You learned it by watching you.
Yeah, so I really hope to see more
Say
from you. And just, you know, don't get discouraged. I think maybe don't bite off as much as trying to stealth it. Give yourself the option to just play on mirror, face the audience, and if you need to, you can always turn around and check the screen out.
And even then, like, just remembering his routine. It's like at least I kind of got the concept of it because it's chaos terror. So like sort of like him in this sort of frenzied state doing a freestyle. Like okay, I get it.
That did fit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like it was a complete loss and he did nothing. Like left an impression on me. Like okay, I get it. I like where this guy is going. It's a shame he didn't pass it. But I mean like had everything broken right for you. You had something going there. So definitely keep at it. Give it another try. And hey, we're gonna be there to support you.
I mean, it's a risk, and the fact that a lot of the people here try to strive so far away from being mediocre is great. They went all let that creativity go. Like if it sounds stupid, make it stupider and put it on there.
Yep.
Also, shout outs to Round 1 security.
Yeah, they were on there.
For immediately showing up when they saw a guy in a mask to defuse any potential situation there could have been. Luckily, it was just DDR freestyle, and they were understanding of that. But shout outs for them being so diligent.
Yes.
Can't hate on that. Kind of what you're alluding to with Kanaru, stepping his game up obviously earlier. Another person who I thought stepped their game up big was Malia.
There you
yeah.
go.
Huge.
Girl.
Girl.
Yo.
Huge.
I remember seeing you at a Storm, the CEO thing a couple months ago, and yeah, to go from that first routine, which I remember, like I liked it just because I was healing vision. I remember you're doing Maniac, and it was like I got the whole kind of concept. You're kind of going with the whole musical tone of it. So like when you got to the break, it was sort of fast and kind of frantic but smooth. But then the breakdown, it's like dun dun. You're feeling tired and all that. And I was like, okay, I got that. I mean, obviously it didn't score high, out there, but kind of going from that to, was it the light? I think it was. Yeah. Yo, that was dope. It was like facing the crowd, and you got your moves in that. Strong beginning, strong finish. That's what I really like seeing.
Yeah. It was start to finish, and she had the Kizuna AI cosplay going, just fully in character, huge smile on her face, just great facial expressions, and just being there. She was super enthusiastic about freestyle that night, and wants to continue to improve. She's one of the new faces of freestyle, and has crossed over from Valkyrie Dimension into here, and is now juggling two at once.
Two-sport athlete.
There you go.
CEO
Love seeing
was her
that.
first one.
Get you a girl who can do both.
It was, yeah. CEO was her first.
I wonder if she watched the style guide for the light that Freestyle Takeover put up.
Yeah, great song.
Very ambitious.
Yeah. Most importantly, she just looked confident in having, and had fun up there. And there's a lot to be said. Like, once you feel confident and you're feeling sure and what you're doing, yeah, just what you can accomplish up there, it's beyond what you can imagine.
Yeah, it really came through as judges, and it really left an impression. We were having fun watching it, and
in fact, we only had like 10 spots to give, points to. Like, yeah, some of us just didn't have them, but make no bones about it, you did good.
Were there any more honorable mentions we want?
That cat from New York.
Oh, Kelvin. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Kelvin. Yeah,
Mr. Absolute Zero.
yeah. It says "So in Love," a song near and dear to my heart. Yeah, I love that. I love like the whole, the rose petals in the middle of it.
Petals,
yeah, like I said, it just gives me that American Beauty kind of aesthetic to it.
Yeah, super smooth.
Yeah. He was just grooving up there, and people were feeling it.
Yeah, he. I'm just really happy to see so much love for So in Love, like throughout this year, every event.
Renaissance.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to bring up. I know he didn't score. He's probably bottom of the list, but I was actually impressed by Megumin.
Watson,
yeah.
Watson. Yeah, he. It seemed like he had a really big idea. Like the toy box routine, and it was funny because when I saw that toy box and I saw it vibrating, I was like, "Is that my toy box?" I'm kidding. Like, oh my god! But he showed a lot of charisma, and even though he didn't score that high, I thought it was of ambitious what he was trying to do.
He's getting better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fully committed to that, like those musical breakdowns in the middle, the end when he was had to vibrate. Yeah, he gave it his all, and I think I'd just like to see a little more choreography, maybe a little better memorization. But Watson's just so much fun to watch in both games. It's so charismatic.
Like all the outfits he brings, and he brings the character behind those outfits. So I really think he does have that cosplayer's keyword play. That cosplayer's mindset in every single part of his routine. So, it's always a delight to see whatever he does, even though it may not make sense to a lot of people. It's definitely, something put out there. So.
Yeah. Other speaking of people who I'll go.
Sorry, it makes me appreciate cosplay a little more. Like it's kind of not my wheelhouse, not something I've ever been a part of as far as the different scenes go. But you mentioned just that play behind it.
Yeah, it's more than just putting on a costume.
Exactly.
There's the play, yeah.
That's awesome.
Then, of course, speaking of cosplay, I think we have to bring up True Panoy, who did that yeah song. I don't know Japanese, so all I just know is yeah, which is not, and no, it doesn't mean Usher's in DDR, even though we tried really hard to get Usher for DDR Ultra Mix back in the day.
We got Neo, but no Usher still in licensed. True Panoy in full on. What was his character exactly? Was it also the
like an idol?
The jacket art?
Yeah.
Some kind of idol. He was an idol for that night, and I was entranced.
I missed the announcement where they had said, where Apollo had announced who was up at the screen, and I saw D-Lo picking the song, and I was like, wait, we have another female in here? And then he turned around, I'm like, oh,
that was Gerald.
And then he tossed the Craig's bucks. Did he toss him, or did he
he had a money gun.
Yeah, he had the money gun to shoot the Craig's bucks out at the crowd.
He hit the full Rainmaker pose and everything at the end, so got a little bit of everything. Got the idol, got the New Japan wrestling fan. For DDR fan, he's kind of like the buffet, I don't mean because he was looking tasty, but he gave a little bit for everybody.
Don't lie.
And then another
I shall say not another word about that.
And then another cosplayer, we had Daddy666.
Yep.
Good.
Smooch.
Yeah, did the smooch
art.
Yeah, the smooch art. If there was an award for
who had the most fun at Freestyle Takeover Night in Motion, she wins it.
Yeah, dude.
When she gave that little twerk right at the beginning, I was like, she in. She know.
It's like when your EDM princess becomes, a ratchet princess at midnight. No, but that was dope. That's just that's kind of what we were going for in Night in Motion, just like the wild over the top visual, but on top of that, the wild over the top movement. That was she hit that perfect Venn diagram in that regard.
Yeah, she went
super memorable.
Yeah, she went at 120 miles an hour. And then she
had the grill.
Yeah, the grill.
Yeah.
And apparently she was supposed to have backup dancers that bailed on her because they thought DDR was too nerdy.
Shame on you people.
Shame. She did a great recap of Night in Motion the Friday night. It's highly worth checking out. You could probably find it on YouTube. I don't have the exact address handy. Maybe we can link it in our show notes. But she did about a 20-minute recap of the whole night and gave some good insights into freestyle, and highly worth watching.
Wow, we talked so much about the lower card too.
Right?
This is this is how big this this event was.
How about the top 4?
Oh yeah, let's get that top 4. Actually, I would say we'd be remiss if we didn't shout out the Juice.
The Juice.
Yeah, the five moves of doom came back, and thankfully we didn't have a near-death experience like we saw at Fanime.
No, he stuck his stunts this time. That was great.
Yeah. Well, we thought he was going to go through the table for his one spot, but he knew his boundaries, and well, what can I say? The man exudes confidence and sex.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs too. Dancer and the Flares is built for freestyle.
Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Narwhal, the same guy that you shouted out during Dance Rush, because he brought it for DDR.
Yeah, he led off, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the first one.
Yeah.
And
More cosplay.
man, that was a hell of a first a routine to kick the night off for DDR. I really enjoyed that. He has a different kind of style than everyone else.
you guys were talking about it on the stream, that kind of more of like a feminine style, the way like he does his arm movements,
Yep.
and he's not like super quick and flashy, just very smooth.
Like sweeping motions.
Yes.
Yeah,
Flowy. I wrote that down on the scorecard. Flowy.
There you go.
I think he would fit a lot with the Japanese crowd, like Japanese freestyle crowd, because they are more upper body, as a more sweeping moment, more lyrical.
Yeah.
I really feel Dinarwal would really fit in with that crowd, like as a style.
Might be inspired by it. The guy Megane comes to mind.
Megane, yes.
Megane,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
He has a lot of the same style.
Absolutely.
Well, he definitely fits in with our crowd.
Yeah, happy to have him.
But yeah, top 4. Let's get into that. 4th place, again, 001. Woo. He
This could
did
have gone either way.
Yeah,
all 4 of these spots, to be honest.
Yes.
I love the concept for this one.
Yeah, as someone who's really tuned into the whole sports thing, and for him doing the retelling of Kevin Durant and his whole experience with the Warriors, joining and then going in free agency to Brooklyn.
It's just too soon, damn it. Too soon. It hurt. Hurt my heart.
Dude, topical. It was topical.
Yeah, it was timely and perhaps timeless. Time will tell. But yeah, kind of going to everything from starting off with calling up Kyrie Irving, talking about, hey, let's get to Brooklyn, and then kind of going with his whole end one movements with the basketball, using that to hit the arrows and such. So
Has that ever been done before? Like,
no, not
we were
with.
Well, DDR in there's actually a pretty really well done basketball routine that's been done. I actually sent it to 001 to see if he wanted any inspiration, but it didn't. He didn't actually take it. I don't think he But it was just the basketball routine. It was kind of this group routine, and they made it to the World Championships. Oh, wow. Yeah, and. However, don't watch the World Championship version, because here's the thing: at that WPF a pump, half of the people can make it across the Mexican border, so only one of the people were there, and it was take a group routine, make it one. It was kind of
no visas.
Yeah, no visas. No
Oh,
visas.
boy.
Now
That's
we
a
know
shame.
how Daddy felt.
But he made I love the basketball choreo so much that 001 did, and it was flawless. He did so many things can go wrong with the ball. The ball can just fly away and then into nothing, and then once that's done, you're not gonna run over and get it.
Right.
It's like you're done with that concept. Yeah. But he nailed it, and then just got through it all. So that was really impressive. That's probably a basketball is definitely one of the most riskiest props I've ever seen in my life.
It can go off at any angle.
Right.
But
right.
he kept it the entire time. I
Literally
was like,
one bounce.
right, there you go.
Yeah.
I was on edge watching it, and he stuck to that. He found so many different ways to use it. It looks simple, the routine itself, just kind of looking back, but being able to groove while holding a prop like that, and it was probably one of the best prop usages I've seen in ages.
That's the thing, in the pump community, that people bring props of all kinds, like flags and stuff, but I want to see a prop that, enhances your own movement. Not just something not like a show and tell showcase kind of thing. And, 001 has a great example of, showing off his dancing ability a lot and having the basketball.
It complemented it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's not just having a prop for the sake of it, but the fact that you're able to integrate it and use it to tell the story of your freestyle. That's what really sells it. Other than, hey, look what I'm wearing. That's yeah, that's not a routine.
That's huge. That's a huge difference, and he kept it the entire time with him. I liked when he threw it up in the air and just caught it, and also hit a step at the same time that he caught it. There's just so many little great details in that routine.
There was the part where he fell to the ground For
Yeah.
Towards Achilles.
For about half a second, I thought he got hurt legitimately,
Oh, really?
and then I realized he was mimicking Kevin Durant. It hurt even more. Hurt, James. It hurt. His feelings are raw.
And no surprise, or rather appropriate, that the song that he did was "I Need You."
I need you. Yeah, thankfully nobody cheered during that moment.
Yeah.
I think we laughed because we realized what was happening. But yeah, there was no Raptors repeat.
Figured you'd be the one to do
I should,
Captain
yeah.
Canada.
I got in character. Oh man.
But yeah, that was definitely a strong showing from him, and like any other day, that probably would have been first place. But that speaks to this tournament pretty much and Dancerush. It took a really, really, really like outstanding performance to win it all, to top like the next person. And to top 001, third place was Butters, who's definitely been on the upswing big time. And she
Butters upswing mix.
for sure. And she did one of the new A20 licenses, Dua Lipa song,
New rules.
New Rules, yeah. Which for me, that was like, for all we talked about in DDR A, everyone here was like, "Come on, do break free, do break free." For me and Paolo, we were like, "Do new rules, do new rules."
Hell yeah. It's a great song.
Yeah, it was dope. I was glad she chose that, and she, wow.
Yeah. This is like a whole new side of Butters. Like, everyone's just bringing something different every tournament. It's been so awesome to watch. And yeah, that was she has such like dramatic flair to her moves and emotional storytelling there. Yeah, this Butters ripped it.
And shout out to Watson for being a shelf. Because yeah, she just like, so if you're wondering why he's like out there just kind of acting like, you know,
Oh, is that
human
it?
shelf.
Okay.
Yeah, because the A20 cabinets have no shelves, so he had to sit there and so he wasn't like some boyfriend or like anything like that. He was just literally something to hold a rose. Yeah.
There's one thing, I believe I used this for you, DaKree, at Fanime 2018 when you do a performance, and I believe I told you almost like became the music video for that song. Like if there was a music video for that song, it could just be that routine. Felt the same way for Butters in this routine. Like she embodied the song perfectly, like her facial expressions, her emotions. She did like the cleanest kick over the bar that I've ever
yes,
seen.
I wrote that down. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It happened super quick.
Yeah. And
Flawless.
yeah, just reacting emotionally to the song while still busting out like really clean dance moves. That's what put her at towards the top for me.
Yeah.
The way she was able to combo her groundwork and all that kind of stuff was also super impressive, because that is never an easy thing to do, to hit your knee drops and to like get back on your feet. And she was doing this in like clunky old, like
that too.
yeah, heels.
So the challenge of it and like the complexity just put her a little bit over the top of 001, who I think I liked his concept a little more.
Like I do.
But it just the difficulty of what she was putting out there put her over the top.
Right. I think it could. I think it was towards the end where Butters kind of slipped a little.
Yes.
So I think like this could be a classic routine. I just think that Butters just needs to finish it, like because her first 45 seconds were definitely on point and then she was kind of just grooving along to the end.
She was looking over her shoulder a lot, which like that's always going to be like, okay, that takes a perfect routine down to like really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
It could have been bulletproof. I think with her style, just kind of like looking at it from a big picture standpoint, one thing that she does really well in like selling her routine is there's like a sensuality, almost like it's I guess sort of like in a very basic way. It's like you could be sensual, you could be like sexual up there without being, you can be like sexy up there without being sexual. Right. And there's just like some of her movements also is just like, damn, it's like you get hot under the collar kind of, but it's not like so perverse. It's like, not that there's anything wrong with you, DaKree. I mean, that's your silo.
It's not like I bring my collection on.
But no, yeah, it fit the song, like you said, like watching the music video. Like it was an incredibly good fit for it, and she's just such a performer. Like can't no one touch her on that.
Yeah, and from what I gathered, she didn't have much time to practice with that either. Yeah,
It's like 48 hours or a few days or so. Mm-hmm. So if we see her at her peak, like prep time Butters, Like, watch out.
Yeah, anybody out there, prep time is just as important as, nailing it on the big stage. Prep will get you there. And now we get to the, what was better than that? Number 2, the runner-up, someone who I had not known of until, that night for Alligator. I assume that's how I'm just going by the
F-Gator.
F-Gator. Yeah.
Ricky, yeah.
Yeah. Who did Pitbull's Time of Our Lives? Yeah, which I'd not seen a freestyle to my knowledge.
Surprisingly.
Woo! That boy was smooth.
I'm pretty close with him because he works at Concord Round 1. So I've known him. He's been wanting to do one of these freestyle things for a long time, but he keeps going off and on and off and on, and finally he's able to really bring it, because I've seen his choreo, and it's pretty tight.
Yeah, he's got a background for sure, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, he kind of the whole college.
Let's say he definitely has the modern choreo.
Yeah.
Thing with him.
Right.
I'd seen him with some kind of dance crew T-shirt at a session over at O'Mead's once, and he wasn't freestyling, but I got a feeling this guy's a dancer. This guy's got into freestyle sometime, and I'm so glad he did.
Yeah, just come out of nowhere and just it was like just one nonstop, like, ooh, that's good, oh, that's good. You're like, okay, well, man, is he gonna break at one point? Like, he doesn't even get his groundwork in and all that kind of stuff. Like, he was hitting as many technical spots as he could, and it was clean.
Yeah, and it was just very like the variations he was getting the entire time. Like he wasn't repeating moves. Like, I don't know where all this came from. Well, I guess college dance troupe.
Yeah.
There's your inspiration, but yeah, it's just the amount of variety was nuts.
Yeah, when he walked up and I saw stealth, I was like, oh, okay.
But yeah, that's definitely one of those routines I can definitely show to other people, and like, yeah, this is, and it translates well from outside of just us gamers and such. It just shows that you can take just modern dance and integrate it into this relatively seamlessly. So yeah. And like I said, any other day that would have been winner. That's like something you can just look at and be like, okay, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah, I thought for sure that was gonna get first. However, there's one guy who just refuses to lose 99% of the time, and just when you think like you can go to the well one too many times, here comes Apple Frog, and the trilogy. it's complete.
Yeah. So he comes out with he did Walk the Moon's Shut Up and Dance, which was kind of wild because when he came out, he was wearing like the Sony tag. I honestly had no idea where he was going with that. Like, okay, like the whole Kojima thing did not cross my mind.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Until
I should have seen it coming. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, he got his girlfriend, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex. She stepped up. He's been wanting to see her make strides into freestyle, and seeing her pull off some choreography that night was super cool.
Yeah.
I hope we see her enter solo sometime.
Yeah. I think the thing about him is just he knows how to build a routine from the start and like build up to like some crazy payoff.
That's it. It's the build and the payoff, like the punchline. Like, he does that so well, so consistently. I think that's what put him over Ricky for this event.
Honestly, for me, if you negated like all his props, like everything, like asserting around him, and just see him as a solo performer, I still would have put him far above, everyone else.
I told Paulo exactly that. If there was no Kojima, no props or anything, still would have been number one for me, just based on the dancing alone.
Right. Even like
His isolations.
yeah, like even I guess I didn't get to bring this up for Dancerush, but I think the thing I was mixed about of his Dancerush routine was how he had the signs to the side. It's like I just wanted to see Apple Frog like do his own, and if I had to look at what was going on, I have to kind of turn. So like I just don't want to keep my eyes off of Apple Frog. Like I'm still mixed between, you know, this great storyline and seeing, you know, Apple Frog kill it.
Yeah, totally.
So that's where you know, my head is kind of mixed on. So
I'm with you. It's trying to do two things at once.
yeah.
In 001, having the signs at the beginning and the end, like kind of bookending it, but not making you read it during his routine was really smart.
It's almost like I think timing makes the most sense when it comes to props, and like especially when you have to like take your eyes off the performer. It's like, as a performer, if you want to have, you know, your side prop become like the focal point, you should be doing next to nothing on the pad, or like something so minimal that like it's negligible if I'm taking my eyes off you for like that 3 seconds. But if you're doing some cool spot and like I'm too busy looking over here at this, you know, prop, then yeah, you're losing something big time there.
But I think out of the trilogy, I think it was his best choreography to date. It had that emotional payoff that we were waiting for. It just had everything. It was like across the board. I loved it.
Yeah, it's no small feat to like pretty much punch Konami in the face twice in one night with 2 different routines.
It's like it's pretty much his MO at this point. and we love you for it, dude. That's really, really gutsy.
Don't hate us, Konami.
Yeah.
We still support DDR.
We still love your game.
It's just one man's commentary.
Dancerush is amazing to play on.
So yeah, but just overall, the fact that we practically ran through the entire lineup of the DDR tournament and just had nothing but gushing words to say over it is like that tells you all you need to know about how really good it was. It's the rewatchability factor of this is very much up there.
Yeah, and shout outs to John Tran as well.
Yes.
Love seeing Pump It Over crossovers, Function and you as well.
And he did Fever.
Also picked Fever, like Function did. Yeah, that was really fun to watch and just super groovy. John Tran, any thoughts on his pump history?
Okay, so we have it's kind of funny because we always make fun of John Tran because he has kind of his own 5 moves of doom, you know, double punch in the air, punch to the side, you know, swinging arms. It's kind of and you know, I think 2 of his past routines, like even though I don't think he's evolved so much about increasing his, you know, actual a library of movement, but now he's applying it to, you know, more songs that work with him and that, you know, can bring his character out. I think it's pretty cool. If he can, like, you know, take one of my Vogue classes or, you know, anything around, like he definitely has, you know, this, a character to bring on stage. He just, it's not like he's on there and just, you know, just going through the movements. No, he really is feeling something. He just needs, you know, more ways to translate it.
I think so. I think I want to see some more isolations and stops, and because he's very continuous in his movements, but I'd like to see him really stick some poses.
I think he needs to do that. Like if he can like go even, like how I talked about kind of the Japanese lyrical style. Like if he can camp it out to like, you know,
oomph,
maximum.
Just raise
right.
Raise that dial a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So speaking of the Japanese influences, we're going to cut it right there for episode 15 of the Freestyle Takeover podcast. And we will get more into the Japan side of things with DaKree, who was just recently there, in our Nagopafo recap episode. Thank you for joining us. I've been James, aka Gabby J.
And it's been me, Ryan, aka Regular Ryan, and it was a pleasure to join you all today.
And I've been your boy, DJ Melvis.
And this is your lovely international superstar, DaKree.
And we only got 4 words for you.
Show me your performance.